Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about the importance to address the audience, it is our absolute delight and privilege as I invite our next speaker on the stage. Running at the sake of repeating myself, once again encouraging everyone to offer their loudest cheer as we welcome them. Please welcome our chief guest. Please give it up for Mr. Jeff Goldberg, founder, Jeff Goldberg Studio.
Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Welcome. It's been a wonderful morning, and I'm just going to speak a few words. I apologize that I'm wearing my leather jacket. It's just freezing in Delhi, and I did not expect this. I'm coming from Mumbai, where it's a little bit warmer. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've heard everything that can be said about online education, and I'm not going to be able to surmise everything that has been said in any more effective way than our panelists and the various speakers who's come up today. But I am going to offer an opportunity to think about online education and the future of education in one word, and that word is democracy. What I mean is this: democracy is about justice, democracy is about equality, democracy is about collaboration as a people, and online education is definitely a step in that direction. Why? Because the fact of the matter is that it levels the playing field. For whatever reason, a parent, a child, a school wants to participate in online classes or a full-fledged online program, that presents an opportunity for those people to finally be able to collaborate, work with, and learn from a global classroom. It is affordable, it is accessible, it is the future. But we keep talking about it as if it's something that's far off in the distance, when in fact it's here right now. It is happening today. We are all constantly logged into our phones, our devices. We use the internet for a variety of things from minute to minute across the day. The fact of the matter is that today children and adults have the opportunity to use those devices for more than just updating themselves or profile pictures or things like that, but actually to learn something. And what is truly incredible, and I think that the people speaking today already represent that, is the opportunity to work with people from throughout the world, to have classmates and conversations where cultures are organically intermixing, organically talking to one another. We lost. Online education is today. And when we say that we think it's the future, it makes it sound like something that may or may not work. And I think that's totally false, because it has to work. It absolutely must work. Why? Because in a globalized world where the goods and services, the products we all use, where we permit them to cross borders with no problem, where we hear about trade tariffs and we hear about borders coming down, why is that only allowed to commercial goods? Why should not it be also true of knowledge, of our shared understanding of the world we live in? And this is actually something that I saw incidentally last night on the news. They recently were able to finally decipher what is in these Vesuvius scrolls. The Vesuvius scrolls are some scrolls that were covered in lava nearly 2,000 years ago when Mount Vesuvius exploded and forever trapped a Roman city. AI technology of a team of collaborators from all over the world were finally able to decipher what is in these scrolls. Now, the beauty and the punchline of that story is the information they found. But the background of that story is that it's a global community of people who did it. And that global community is only possible with being online. And we are here today to not only think about, but to celebrate the fact that online education is today going to change the world. It is changing the world. And the more we embrace that, the more we promote that, and the more we participate in that, we bring ourselves closer to that democracy where there is truly justice and truly equality. I don't believe in online education. I know that it is definitely 100% everything we need to do to be successful as individuals, as parents, as educators, and as members of our own communities. So I appreciate your time. I thank you very much. I thank everybody from the team for having me here to Delhi, and I wish you all a wonderful afternoon, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chandan Samal. I'm an actor and a filmmaker. I'm also pursuing a bachelor's degree in Bachelor of Business Administration with a specialization in business finance. Now, before I extend my sincere thanks to all those who made this Education Summit 2024 a profound success, I would like to talk about how online methodologies of teaching and learning have impacted my life and made me who I am today. Now, you see, right before the pandemic, right before I graduated, I discovered something about myself. I discovered that I wanted to become an actor. I wanted to be in front of the screen for the rest of my life. But knowing how important education is, I was verklempt with the disconcert my dreams may cause to my parents, one of them who's sitting right here. But then the pandemic occurred, and soon online education became the new normal. Throughout the last 3 years, while pursuing a bachelor's degree, I was also able to get a diploma in method acting from the Jeff Goldberg Studio, a certification in thematic narrative and author filmmaking from the Jeff Goldberg Studio, and a diploma in theater acting from 𝗙cie Library of Theater Arts Research. Mind you, these were all full-time courses which were usually attended by those who were 25 and above. I was the youngest there, and I could do this while pursuing my bachelor's degree because of online education. Along with this, I was also able to help my dad in his business whenever I got the time, and assist in many filmmaking projects where I learned about the intricacies about how films are made and about how production works. I also worked in many theater productions as an actor, honing my craft. Meanwhile, I also learned about the intricacies of financial institutions and markets and more. How? Online education. Thanks to my teachers, they made sure that the education that I was receiving was at par or even sometimes better than the education that my friends were receiving. While my friends were waking up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning to go to college and coming back at 5:30 p.m., I was receiving the same quality education, and I had the time to hone my craft, my skills, and work on something that I truly desired. India is now one of the most populous countries in the world. With over 50% of its population under the age of 25, I believe that our generation has a lot to offer. The younger generation don't want to be tied down with one skill. They want to explore their options, they want to have multiple accomplishments, and they want to experience genuine pursuits in their own respective fields, all the while getting a formal education. This is where organizations like K-12 schools and EduExcel come in. From K-12 school, which has students taking classes from over 40 plus countries with a vision of creating a truly hybrid experience by creating experiential centers all over India and the world, to EduExcel, which focuses on training young professionals through higher education and certification program for ever-changing professional world, ever-changing and competitive professional world. I believe in EduVenture's motto of envisioning a world in which knowledge truly knows no boundaries. I repeat myself again, where knowledge truly knows no boundaries. It has been an interesting session today where we discussed on online schooling as well as online higher education and how online learning has seen growth over the last few years. Our esteemed panelists discussed on the future of online global education and presented some interesting insight around flexibility, accessibility, as well as education policy laid down by the government. Your insights have ignited a spark for positive change. So thank you so much.
I welcome our dignitaries on the stage for the press conference, requesting Mr. P.K. Samal, founder and managing director, EduVentures, Mr. Vaibhav Shastri, co-founder of 𝗂𝗽𝗻 Online Schools and EduExcel, Dr. Kevin Merges, Global Impact Officer, Saddle River Day School, New Jersey, United States of America, Mr. Jeff Goldberg, founder, Jeff Goldberg Studio, and Mr. 𝗙ecie𝗹𝗹, head of school, Saddle River Day School, USA. Could I please request everyone to kindly settle down on stage? Well, heartiest congratulations to both the parties included, and wishing Godspeed to everybody out there. The floor is now open for questions and answers to our media persons. Kindly put up your questions. Thank you.
I have a question. What do we see ahead now with this collaboration that's happened for the students who are interested in media, in modeling, in acting? How do we look at the future now? How do we go about it? How do we actually, as a parent, what should I do to get this collaboration into actual practice?
We are going to be offering a series of programs that are based upon our years of experience at the studio in Mumbai. And essentially, as we start to roll out the programs, students will be made aware of what we offer. And essentially, one of the things that we're trying to do, and one of the things I spoke with the team about, is this, which actually is the root of why I do what I do. I get this question a lot, which is, why would you come to India and teach acting, performing arts, filmmaking, things like that? And the answer to that question from a business / sort of a global standpoint is this, is that in every house in India, there's at least one performing artist. Everybody has at least one dancer, one actor, one filmmaker. Folks in this country are very attached to their performing arts. And every house has at least one, sometimes two, sometimes 10 people who are interested in the performing arts. The challenge that we have as an educational institute in the performing arts is being able to reach those audiences. This is an enormous country where languages change from state to state, from city to city, where the expectations of families change from home to home. Online education gives us a way to leapfrog all of those challenges and arrive right at the child's laptop or device and start the conversation about their dream. Also, using my student Chandan as an example, Indian families, and very rightly, want their children to also continue to pursue more formal studies, formal tracks of studies. And fair enough, in a country like India where things are still developing, parents want to ensure that their child has a solid backup plan or something else to build off of. Online education gives those students the opportunity to double up, i.e. study in one track and then also another track at the same time, which would have never been possible before.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is 𝗙ecie 𝗍𝗍. I'm the head of the school at 𝗖𝗵𝗲 with my colleague, Kevin Merges, who is Chief Global Impact Officer. I also want to give a big shout out for my colleagues over there sitting in that little corner, Joe McMenamin, Deirdre Angrick, and Anastasia Kelly. They have come to India with us for the first time. And we are excited to have you guys. I do believe that online education is definitely going in the right direction, but we strongly believe that nothing can replace the physical education of the kids, especially the K-12 level. What can change is the AI technology and emerging technology in the classroom to provide accessible education to kids around the world. AI technology that we are working in our school will enhance teaching. And I think we're going to hire more teachers. We're not going to lay off teachers. We're going to hire more teachers because there are more ways to teach our kids, more personalized learning, more differentiated learning, which will require more teachers in the classroom. So for us, we look at it a different way. Yes, there's an online education, but you still need social, emotional needs of our students. And that's why you still need to have a physical campuses around the world. And that's not going to be replaced in any time soon.
I think that what we see is technology empowering teachers to do more, but not, I'll say do more, but not work as much. But what I mean by that is during COVID, especially, we saw a lot of extra burdens put on teachers. And we're trying to take the cognitive load from the teacher and put them back into the classroom to engage the children. And I think that's the important part, because I think that that student-teacher relationship is it's one of the most important things that we can offer. The online can supplement that and give us things that we don't have. Like somebody was saying before, like the ability, like you said, the ability to go to Mumbai or New York or London, right? That's not something that everybody has the ability to do. So we should use technology to make those kind of things. And with virtual reality and AI, you can do things where you go back in time. You can do things that are too dangerous to do in person. You can experiment with so many different things that the teachers now have these new opportunities. And in some cases, we can do it all from our phones. And with the emerging connections that students have all over the world, right, with internet connection.
So the mindset of parents, I think it's changing as the technology is changing. But the COVID was a pivot, like a key turning point in our schools and across the country. People realized when online learning was happening, there were a lot of things that the teachers were teaching the kids or in the classroom. Parents quite didn't understand or quite didn't agree with a lot of the things that were happening in the classroom. And that opened up a lot of conversations across the country in the United States about what's going on in the classroom and why are we teaching the way we are teaching. And that basically kind of, I guess, forced schools to reevaluate what the curriculum is. And that was a very interesting turning point for a lot of schools. A lot of schools did not survive the pandemic because they just didn't have enough resources. So mindset is changing based on what they saw in 2 years of COVID and what technology can do. But at the same time, parents realize one thing. They really want the kids to be in school. They want them to be happy. They want to make sure the kids have all the people skill they need in those years. Because one of the things we saw in the US, I don't know about India, but in the US, the learning efficiency had decreased actually during the COVID years. And a lot of the social interactions were not happening because the kids were, doing everything remotely. As long as there's a right balance, right technology, I think we'll be okay. But parents' mindset have changed significantly in the last 2 years.
Immediately after the pandemic, online programs were not very well sought after. People wanted to get out of their houses, and they wanted to be back in the room with folks, and they wanted to work with them. What's happening today is actually an interesting shift, at least in Mumbai and other places. What I mean by that is that online education is becoming something that people are very interested in, especially in the 9 to 12 range, 9th grades to 12th grade, because students want more than just what's on offer in their school. And they know that that's available to them through online platforms. That shift is very real. On top of which, the academic day for most kids is pretty long. And if you factor in things like traffic and construction, because right now a lot of major metro Indian cities are seeing a lot of construction, a lot of infrastructure, which is great, but also a challenge day to day. You spend, in Mumbai, we have kids who are on school buses for an hour in the morning and an hour on the way home. And that's 2 hours, and if you're 6 years old or even 15 years old, that's a lot. And, you get home, you don't want to be in a car running to your tuition classes, stuck in another 30 minutes of traffic going from one end of your town to the next. So I think that online education and online programs represent the solution to that, because, parents feel very comfortable. Their child's in the room, their child's in their bedroom doing the work. Of course, emotional development and of course, being with your classmates is extremely important. But in India, I think that this is a little bit more ubiquitous. And I think that parents are much more willing to try this and experience this, because also, the parenting paradigm here is much more aspirational. Parents want to see their children. I mean, of course, every parent wants to see their children do better than they did. That's very clear. But that's something that's really ingrained right now in this moment in India, where folks are trying to achieve. We see goals being set everywhere, and people are really trying to achieve them. And Indian parents, and of course this is a gigantic country and it's difficult to say anything uniformly, but they're really, really excited about the possibility that an online education can offer their child, because it can offer them something global, offer them something local, can offer them courses and thoughts that they would otherwise not have. So I think right now we're seeing a real push back towards online education in the last couple months and years.
We did that because we want the first time the students go in to go to a place that they're familiar. That's a great opportunity for us, as long as you can figure out the time zones, to get in a classroom with students from all over the world. They just put on a headset. That's not a great model for a 5-year-old. That's something that they can do as they get older, right? Everything should be introduced appropriately, and that's what we look at to the teachers and the educational administration to guide us what is appropriate at what level. Yes, my father took pre-calculus in college, and I took pre-calculus in 11th grade. My daughter took pre-calculus in 11th grade and thought that she was behind every other child in the school. And 𝗵𝗲 knows because he was the teacher of my daughter. So we have to find things. We can't put calculus in kindergarten, right? We have to find everything appropriate at each level. And one of the things I think about online education and AI and virtual reality is it will democratize the education. I was just talking to my friends from 𝗵𝗲𝗻𝗶𝗵𝗵, and if we can get the AI to support the teachers in the emerging economies around the world, then we have this huge resource, right? The one thing that you can link to the successful education of a child is the financial stability of their grandchildren. So when we educate children, we are developing the economy of the future. And I think that's what we have to make sure we do, and do it the best way we can with whatever technology is available at that time.
हमारी कंपनी के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं
जी।
तो हमारा 5 साल में 500 करोड़ का टर्नओवर करने का वो है, और हम लोग अराउंड 2000 से 3000 बच्चे ऑनलाइन स्कूल के लिए करना चाहते हैं। एडुएक्सेल के लिए हमारा 1500 से 2000 बच्चे वहाँ के लिए भी है हमारे, और हमारे 5 साल के अंदर अराउंड 20 हम चाह रहे हैं 15 से 20 स्कूल हमारे AES फ्रेंचाइजी मॉडल में स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे 5 साल के अंदर।
और इस सेक्टर में आपका कंपटीटर कौन है अभी?
है जी,
इस सेक्टर में कंपटीटर कौन है आपका अभी?
नहीं, इसमें ऑनलाइन में
जी,
ऑनलाइन में तो अभी कोई ऐसा हमारे सामने तो दिख नहीं रहा अभी जो है
जी। ठीक, थैंक यू।
ऑफलाइन में भी अमेरिकन एज अ फर्स्ट अमेरिकन USA स्कूल, दिस टाइप ऑफ एफिलिएशन और पार्टनरशिप व्हाट वी हैव डन, ऐसी कोई पार्टनरशिप भी किसी की है नहीं, तो इसलिए हम ही लोग अभी हमारे लिए कोई कंपटीशन है नहीं।
थैंक यू।